Hey, hello friends and new listeners. I hope you had a wonderful, beautiful, sensational holiday season. And if you just got engaged, congratulations. I am so glad that you found your way here to this episode of the Florida Wedding Podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Hoffman, and I own a wedding photography and videography company called Pine and Forge. I'm based in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I am here to be your wedding planning BFF for literally anything you need to make wedding planning a total breeze. I'm here to provide answers to common questions by sharing advice, ideas, and solutions for your unique wedding, and by connecting you with Florida vendors who are ready to join you in your celebration. This week, I've got Chelsea Rabeiro here with me, who started Chelax Adventures, a travel agency based out of Tampa, Florida, because there is nothing that Chelsea loves more than helping people discover this vast, beautiful world we live in and helping couples have the most authentic local experience wherever they go. Before I get Chelsea on here, though, I do want to share a quick shout out to Basic Invite for sponsoring this episode. A lot of couples get engaged this time of year, and Basic Invite should be one of the first places you go for announcements and save the dates and invitations. You can customize anything on there, and there's going to be a lot to celebrate in 2021, and you're going to want to send out invites, whether you're gathering virtually or in person or both. So use the code Pine and Forge to get 20% off your order. That code does not expire, so you can use it whenever you want, however often you want, to save money on your wedding stationery and print products. Okay, let's get Chelsea on here to help you escape to your dream destination. Alrighty. Well, first of all, let's have you tell me who you are and where you're located in the state of Florida.
My name is Chelsea, and I actually am in Tampa, Florida, actually in Channel Side. It's really cool. I live right by the cruise port. So when there's lots of ships in here, I'm able to check them all out.
That's awesome. So Chelsea, tell me what you do and the services that you offer.
So I own a travel agency called Chelax Adventures. We're a travel agency that plans personalized vacations, everything from cruises to Caribbean trips, Europe, group vacations, destination weddings, and honeymoons. A lot of our business has been focused on destination weddings and honeymoons lately, but we like to help everybody create their perfect dream getaway.
Awesome. So how did you get into this travel agency business, destination weddings, honeymoons? How did that kind of fall into your lap?
So my day job is an accountant, and one day I was sitting there thinking, what do I really love to do? And what can I do that fulfills my passion? And travel is my passion. So being a destination wedding bride, I knew how overwhelming the process is. And just planning my own trips, the amount of research that I put into them to make sure I have the best local authentic experience. I was like, I want to help everybody else do that too. And I had friends and family constantly reaching out to me. Hey, I'm going to this place. I'm going to that place. Where should I stay? What should I eat? What's the best places to go? How'd you get that deal? So I just created this travel agency really so I could help others plan travel in a smart way. So they're not getting ripped off. So they're eating good food and they have cool, authentic, local experiences.
So you said you were a destination bride. Where did you get married?
I got married in St. Martin on the French side. St. Martin is a dual island, so it's Dutch and French. And we got married in a resort on the French side, which then got taken out by the hurricane and now rebuilt as a Secrets resort, which is really cool.
And then where did you guys honeymoon?
In Europe. That was the deal. If we got married in the Caribbean, we were honeymooning in Europe. So we did Italy, France, Spain, and Malta. My husband's a Caribbean guy, so I had to keep him on the water. So we did all the Mediterranean places.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that compromise.
Yeah.
So one big problem right now that couples are facing is kind of knowing where they can go, which is super helpful to have you on here to kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what's popular right now. Where can people go? What are their options?
So there's not many. They are limited, but there are places to go. We actually just got back from Croatia. Croatia is the only country in Europe that is allowing U.S. citizens right now. They're part of the EU, but they're not part of the Schengen area. So they kind of just make their own rules. And that was absolutely beautiful. It's along the Adriatic, across the sea from Italy. And it's just breathtaking. And the food was delicious. The people were amazing. So Croatia is open, as well as there's a couple other places I was actually looking to go. my mind and my planning my own trips gets chaotic sometimes for myself. But Tanzania in Africa is open. So if you want to do a safari, that's open and they're not requiring any testing or anything like that. The Maldives are open. Tahiti is open. And then there's a host of like Caribbean islands that are open with some restrictions and requirements, and some need testing. Croatia required testing within 48 hours. You had to have the test within 48 hours of arrival.
Gotcha. Okay. So when we had talked earlier, you had mentioned something really cool about finding comparable places that couples can go right now that feel like the locations that they might not be able to access right now. Can you share a little bit about a few of those?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people have been wanting to go to Hawaii, and Hawaii is a popular destination wedding and honeymoon spot, but Hawaii is closed right now. So what we always say is St. Lucia is the Hawaii of the Caribbean. St. Lucia has a volcano and jungle and mud baths and hiking and ATVing and adventure. They have black sand beaches, white sand beaches. So if you were looking for like that Hawaii experience, you could really get it in St. Lucia. Also, Costa Rica is a similar climate with the volcanoes and the jungles and black sand, white sand beaches. So there's that. Then also like your overwater bungalows. A lot of people for their honeymoons like to go to Tahiti and Bora Bora, Moorea and get that overwater bungalow experience. There are overwater bungalows in the Caribbean. Sandals has overwater bungalows and villas in St. Lucia, Antigua, and Jamaica. And Antigua Royalton has overwater bungalows. And then there are some in Belize. So if you're looking for that, super luxurious over the water bungalow, you can get it in the Caribbean.
What about some places that have more of like, that aren't necessarily warm and tropical, but maybe they're a little bit cooler? Maybe there's more of like either mountains or kind of winter sport type of a things. What would you suggest for that type of a scene?
If you could go anywhere without COVID, definitely Banff National Park in Canada is beautiful, beautiful blue, crystal blue lake surrounded by the mountains. Switzerland has always been one of my favorite places with the green mountains and the snow-capped mountains with the blue sky. It's just picturesque. Both of those places, unfortunately, right now is not good, but we could definitely book for 2021. And then Alaska cruises are very popular, and they're getting even more popular these days. People are looking for that expedition type vacation, and people are getting more adventurous. So Alaska and even Antarctica, they do expedition cruising to Antarctica as well, where you could hang out with penguins.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. I just got back last week from the Grand Canyon, which was awesome. That was my first time going. It was incredible. But the cool thing about it right now, though, is no one is there. Because there is no international travel, no one is there. Like we saw like maybe 50 people there. So if you wanted to do like Grand Canyon, Sedona type of a vacation, honeymoon, whatever, I would recommend that place because it was awesome.
Great spas too.
Yes.
A good spa, hotel, resort. Yeah, that was actually the case with Croatia as well. There was not many travelers. We were speaking with somebody that said it was like their season right now was like their normal season in March. There wasn't hardly anybody there, and the national parks that were off the beaten path were completely empty. So it was like we had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah, you get that VIP experience for sure. One other question I had for you is what's the difference between all-inclusive and not inclusive?
So all-inclusive is not really found many places other than the Caribbean. So if you're going anywhere else, you're probably not going to find a true all-inclusive experience. But all-inclusive just means everything is included. Your drinks, your liquor, like wine, beer, and spirits, and all your food, 24/7. There's always something open. There's always something to get. And then entertainment and pretty much everything that is on the resort is included. There are some all-inclusive cruise lines that offer excursions as well as part of their packages. So everyone uses the term a little loosely depending on what industry and which supplier you're talking to. But typically it means your food and your drink are included in the resort.
That makes sense. Do you feel like most couples kind of lean one way or the other, whether they want something that's like that or not, even if they're going to the Caribbean?
I would say that I would recommend for a honeymoon to do all inclusive just because there's a lot that goes into a trip, especially after the wedding and after so much planning. You kind of just want to relax and not have to worry about paying bills and finding a restaurant to go to. When you stay at these all inclusive resorts, they have anywhere from, 3 to 12 restaurants on property. So it's a little more relaxed to do all inclusive. And as for destination weddings, definitely all inclusive, because when you have that large group of people or any group vacation, when you do those large groups, it's the easiest way to go. You get contract pricing and everyone just pays, and then you don't have to worry about a thing after that. Everyone can, order as much as they want, drink as much as they want. It works out better for everyone. There are some islands that I wouldn't recommend doing an all-inclusive. And those are like your foodie islands. So St. Martin, Turks and Caicos, Grand Cayman, even Aruba. You might want to stay at something that's not all-inclusive so you could experience the islands, restaurants, and their culture. The ones you really want to go all-inclusive are Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Mexico. Those islands, you definitely want to do all-inclusive. But there are some islands that I would say don't do all-inclusive.
And that's the benefit of hiring a travel agency.
Yeah.
If I am wanting to plan my honeymoon, but I've never hired a travel agent before, what kinds of things should I expect right out of the gate? Or what questions should I maybe ask? Or what are some things to think about?
Okay. Well, the first and foremost, the elephant in the room is always, how much does a travel agent cost? And most people don't know that travel agents cost nothing. We get paid on the back end. The commission's already built into pricing in every supplier. So when you don't use a travel agent, they just keep the commission. When you do use a travel agent, then the travel agent gets paid. But for most things, and most travel agents don't charge any fees. So you get this added service for absolutely nothing. You have a live person that actually cares about you and that will advocate for you and your trip for no money. So that's always like the first thing that it's like a common misconception. Yes.
Because they're paying for so many things for their wedding, and they just expect that if they want to talk with a travel agent, they're going to have to dish out even more money.
Most every service, you think, oh, how much are they going to cost? And they're going to cost extra, but that's hardly ever the case with a travel agent. And even if they do charge a fee, like I do charge fees for my destination weddings, like big groups and stuff, the value that you're getting from that travel agent outweighs the fee tenfold, because the amount of time you would have to spend doing the research and the expertise comes from years and years of traveling and booking trips. So like, even if you were to spend insane amount of hours researching, you'll still never be at the expertise of a good travel agent, a destination wedding specialist, or a honeymoon specialist that's booking trips constantly and is always constantly on the up and up with what's going on with each destination.
Yeah. And no one, after planning a wedding, no one wants to spend 1 billion hours on the internet looking for deals.
Yeah.
It's way more fun and way easier just to tell someone what you're looking for, what you want, what you want to spend, and then boom, magical package.
Yes. Well, that's the thing that people think that and people ask all the time, well, why should I use a travel agent when there's so much on the internet now? Well, that's the thing. There is so much on the internet. How do you sort through it all? How do you know who's reputable, who's not? I've had people book into scams and book airline tickets that were $500 cheaper only to find out at the airport that they have no ticket.
Oh my gosh, that's devastating. Mm-hmm. No, don't do that. You don't want that.
No. And so like, that's the thing. They like to sort through all the different, are you going to go on Expedia and Priceline and that you're going to compare all these prices, or you just let the experts take care of it?
How do you plan for a honeymoon, let's say in like 2022, when currently nothing is open? They just wait?
No, you plan and be hopeful. And even right now, because the deals are so good right now, I actually had an influx of people booking for like October, November, December, because the deals are so good right now. You want to lock them in. And then if they do get canceled, you don't have to worry about it because you have a travel agent. You're not going to be the one sitting on hold trying to get your money back. The travel agent does that. And all these suppliers lately, when they cancel, they've been offering better deals. So a lot of the suppliers have been offering, you could get your money back 100%, or you could get a future travel credit for 125%. So it's kind of like a no risk booking right now. You book and you'll either get more money or get your money back. Throughout this whole process with all my clients and everybody, every single client that I had either rebooked or got their full money back. No one has lost a penny in this whole process. And I've heard of people losing money and I'm like, why? How? No. But none of my clients have lost a penny. So it's kind of like a no risk, book the best deal right now because the deals are not going to last.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear. So if you could give couples one piece of advice, or maybe there's something that you wish you could say to couples, but typically don't, what would that be?
I would say leave the stress behind and let us take care of your honeymoon. Let us take one thing off your plate.
One big giant thing off of your plate.
Yes. And take it off your plate to give you the dream honeymoon that you always thought of. Because oftentimes the dream honeymoon you have in your head, sometimes you can't plan it out perfectly right.
Like if you're trying to do it by yourself, it doesn't come out exactly how you envision it. But if you're able to like let go of that control a little bit, trust someone else with more experience, more expertise, then that's when your dream honeymoon kind of comes together.
Yeah. And also being like a honeymoon specialist, we develop relationships with our hotels and our suppliers and our BDMs, business development managers. So a lot of times my honeymoon clients wind up getting extra perks just because I send a lot of people to the places that are perfect for honeymoons. And it happens to be, the same places often or not. And I throw in a little note or I message the general manager of the resort property beforehand. Hi, I have a honeymoon couple coming in. And I've had the general manager at the Sandals Grand St. Lucian greet my guests when they arrived from the airport. Like just those little special extra touches that you wouldn't get on your own make the trip that much more memorable.
Awesome. So Chelsea, tell me where people can find you online. Like, where do you hang out the most and what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
So these days, there's endless ways to get a hold of me. My favorite is email, travel@chelaxadventures.com. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then Google. You could Google Chelax Adventures. And then my website is www.chelaxadventures.com. And that's CHELAX. Chelax actually is a combination of mine and my husband's name, Chelsea and Alex. It was our wedding hashtag, and then it turned into a hashtag during our honeymoon, and then now it turned into the travel agency. So it's a little take on Relax, Chelax, and our names together.
Oh my God, I did not know that. I figured that it was like your name, but I didn't know that it was also like your husband's name was also in there.
Well, my husband actually made the hashtag and I didn't like it for our wedding because I didn't think it was romantic enough. And then I wound up turning it into a whole travel agency. And now it's
now
everywhere.
You have it for life. That's amazing. I love that story.
Right? And he doesn't ever let me live it down. So it's really funny.
Oh, it just makes for a really great story. That's awesome. How cool. How cool. Well, thank you so much. That's pretty much it. Unless you have something else that you would like to say that we didn't talk about.
Oh, just with COVID going on, we are completely on top of all the travel restrictions and changes. Everything has been changing day by day by day. One day you need a test. The next day you don't. The next day you have to upload something to some portal. The next day you have to do something else. So to keep up with all those changes, use a travel agent. Travel agents know what's going on. They're constantly on top of it. I've watched endless amount of webinars almost every single day to figure out what's going on and what's changing. And we're traveling too. So we know the protocols and have experienced firsthand what it's like to go to Mexico, to go to Croatia, to go, during this time. So
that's awesome. That's good to know. All right, so whether you know where you want to go or even if you just want to bounce some honeymoon destination ideas around, connect with Chelsea and she will find you the perfect location and design it specifically for you. But before you do that, if you loved this episode, if you found even one piece of advice on here helpful, please share this episode. Take a screenshot, post it on your Instagram or Facebook or wherever you hang out the most, or better yet, send a link to this episode to someone who just got engaged that might not know where to start or if they're a little bit lost on where they want to go for their honeymoon. This is the perfect episode for them. So thank you again to Basic Invite for sponsoring this episode. Get 20% off your custom save the dates or invitations and use the code Pine and Forge. That's PINEANDFORGE at checkout at basicinvite.com. For more episodes and wedding planning resources, head to floridaweddingpodcast.com and stay connected between episodes on Instagram and Facebook at Florida Wedding Podcast.